Hi, John. Hi. So good to have you join me. Please confirm for me if you can hear me. While Eniola. Nurse Eniola, I. Please confirm for me if you can hear me. Please confirm if you can hear me. If not, let me disconnect my AirPod. Please confirm for me if you can hear me. Well, I drop this message that we are live. Okay, good. You can hear me, so that's good. Thank you. Okay, Jen. Okay. So yes, I have done now. Hi!
Hi.
Hello. So good to have you join me.
I agree.
Oh no, I'm super excited to be doing this. So
good because
thank you so much.
yeah.
Okay, so let me welcome some of our guys here. I can see Nathaniela. Thank you for coming, Enela Daniel. And I can also see Damola.
Daniela.
Hi,
Hi,
Doctor.
welcome.
Welcome, Dr.
Damola.
Damola, my very good friend. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so I want to just take a minute to share for people to know that we are live and we are online before we go ahead.
All right.
In a very beautiful conversation this morning. So, just a minute, please. Okay, I'm back here. Please let me know if you can hear me. I'm back here now. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you, say.
Oh, great. I told me Olusegun. Nice to have you join us this morning.
Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, I think we can go right ahead while we wait for others to join us on this conversation. Okay. John Fadipe, it's so nice to have you join me. I mean, I can't say this so much. I'm so grateful.
Nice to be here too.
The other time I was with you last year, I think it was December, and I had such a great time with your people. And I'm just so pleased, to have you accept my own invitation as well this time around. So thank you for coming.
So it was nice having you in December.
Thank you so much. As a way of introduction, John Fadipe is the founder of Beyond Fun Initiative, and I think I'll just let him go on from there. So just basically tell us who you are, what you do, and just introduce yourself to us. I'll leave it up to you to do the introduction yourself. So you have the floor.
All right. Thank you. Hey there, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here with everyone today, and my name is John Fadipe. I'm the founder of Beyond Porn Initiative, and I'm also a digital entrepreneur. That just sums up everything I do, so I don't want to go into much details. And I'm a passionate advocate for the transformative power of small habits. So I think that sums it up for now. Yeah, that sums it up.
Okay, so good, so good. The transformative power of small habits, so profound.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
if we
I'm a
begin
big
to talk
fan.
about that, we will not leave here today because I'm also very
Obviously.
passionate about the okay, so let me not jump ahead of myself really.
Yeah, I know.
Because if I start to talk, we'll get into the body of the discussion. So let me not go ahead of
Obviously.
myself. Let me just take this step by step. All right, so this is not really about a discussion, but I'm interested and I'm intrigued by what you do with BPI. So why BPI? Why Beyond Porn Initiative? What exactly is the story behind it? If you care to share with us.
All right. Yeah, thank you. I have no choice. I'm here to share, obviously. So, BPI came as a result of the fact that a lot of young people in today's world have been, submerged, inadvertently or even on purpose into an ocean of porn. Like from the soft version of porn, from the subtle version of porn to the full-on hardcore version of porn. Young people see porn everywhere they go, especially young boys in their formative years. They are watching a music video. It's almost pornographic in a sense because of the way the whole thing is structured, and essentially it's a pandemic. It's affected people everywhere around the world. It's a global phenomenon. And one key reason why BPI exists is because of the fact that a lot of people do not feel comfortable opening up about their struggles, right?
That's very true. That's very right.
Yeah,
You're right on that.
that's the truth. You go on a video on a porn site, basically, you see hundreds of views, right? You see millions of views. And if you walk up to a random person in the street, do you watch porn? The most likely answer you're going to get is no, right?
No,
So who is
yeah,
watching? Is it bots?
Are they good?
Yeah, and there are a lot of
Are they
people.
robots?
Exactly. Exactly. So, and there are a lot of people spending huge funds, huge amounts of money, to get pornographic material. So, like, it's humans, of course, it's humans. We are the ones watching it. Let me just say it that way. It's people watching these things, and but because of this stigma that's around that, there's a certain social stigma around the fact that you shouldn't be watching porn and all, but still a lot of people do it. And there are a lot of people struggling to break free, right? People are struggling to break free from this, and they really have no one to share it with. Like, okay, what are you going to tell? Are you going to tell your dad or your mom? It's crazy. In the African setting, it's even much worse because if they are religious, for example, they will just switch to religion. Oh, like you are demon possessed, you need to be delivered of whatever is taking over you. It's not normal, it's not natural, but it's actually very hard to stay away from porn with digital devices all around our laptops, our phones, and social media, and too much information overload and ease of access. So this is exactly why BPI exists, to create a platform for people to come and share their struggles with porn, find help, find direction. Exactly. So it's a safe space essentially for you to come and pour out your heart and share your struggles without being judged by outsiders or by anyone that you don't really want in your business. That's exactly the reason why, to bridge that gap and to remove the sort of stigma, that's around people struggling to break free from this. Yeah.
Oh, this is so good. And I know I've mentioned this before, but I really do admire what you do with BPI. I mean, it takes a lot of courage, honestly, to be able to come out publicly for that cause. Something that is not generally acceptable, for you to make it public and very courageous and bold about it. I really truly admire you, and I cannot say this enough.
Thank you.
So now talking about BPI, talking about BPI, talking about habits. The other time you mentioned that you believe in the power of small habits. So our discussion this morning is centered around how to use our minds, to overcome struggles that has to do with addictions and breaking small habits. So by introducing this topic to everyone who will be watching this now and also later on, what exactly do we classify as these habits or addictions? Because some people, when they hear this, they are thinking, okay, pornography, like what BPI stands for. They're thinking maybe drug addicts or something related to that. So do we have any particular, I don't want to use the word classification, but sort of, or anything that can fall into the category of a bad habit that needs serious attention or addiction, as it were?
All right. Thank you so much, Faisha. First off, disclaimer, I am no expert, right? I'm no expert on this, but obviously the internet has made available tons of materials that we can all learn from. And I've taken some time to actually do some research and learn
Of course, that is why
you're invited. Worked in my life. Yeah, thank you. So essentially, for an habit to be considered bad in a sense, right? It means it hinders you somewhat from getting the results you aim to achieve. You know, that might be vague, but let's take a boxer, for example, an athlete, for example. An athlete, his goal is to stay fit so that he's able to perform at the top levels, right? To achieve such a goal, right, you have to stay away from junk. You have to stay away from loads of sugar, unwarranted calories in sugar and all. You understand? So that is, and if such person has a sugar addiction or an unending craving for junk food and high calorie diet, that might be a bad habit that they have to shed because it's standing in the way of their goal. It's just all about perspective. For let's say an actor now. Let me just use someone like Christian Bale. Christian Bale is an actor that is renowned for his body transformations. The fact that he can, get into and out of shape for any role, whatever the role requires. And if he's going to be taking a role for an obese person or a big bone, big size person, he needs to eat more of junk food, right? And in that context, that is a positive habit because it's getting him closer to his goal. Is getting him closer to his goal. So essentially, we have to look at it from a personal viewpoint. Okay, what are your goals and what do you aim to achieve, essentially? But there's also an overall perspective. As you, a medical person, can attest to, there are behaviors, habits, and intakes that harm our health in the long run, and those that do better for our health. So basically, there's such other classification for that. So the first is a personal one. Okay, what are you aiming to achieve? Are you trying to be more productive? What do you put in? What do you take out? Are you trying to, just live life on cruise? Like you don't want to take life seriously. You don't care about your health. You can. That's also another person. You can decide to take on some habit and say, oh yeah, let me just go free right now. But at the end of the day, what is going to make you a better person? That's most likely what's going to be a positive addition to you, and what's going to make you a worse off person that can be said to be negative. So that's as much I can explain on that.
I absolutely love the foundation that we have laid for this conversation, because as an example, if I want to write a book and I created a particular schedule for writing this book, and maybe I said I want to spend 1 hour every day or every other day to write a chapter of this book, and when it's time for me to get that done, I keep procrastinating. In that sense, it is a bad habit that needs to be broken as a matter of urgency, because it's not allowing you to move to the next level of your goal. It's not allowing you to achieve your goal. So when we're talking about addictions and unbroken habits, we're not necessarily talking about the very big ones we see or the extremes we mentioned. As I said earlier, maybe smoking or anything related to that sort. So it's so good that we laid this foundation, and I absolutely love this, which is leading me to my next question. Okay, so we all are like, each and every one of us, we have one thing or the other that we are working at, maybe not necessarily the extremes as mentioned, maybe procrastination, or you just have this this private battle of, maybe not taking care of your health as it should be, or this private battle of of not having your bath every day. Some people can be very lazy to do that. Yeah, and it's very good for your body. So there are private struggles people have, things like that, or even not being polite enough, being rude, not speaking with people with courtesy or anything of sort. So as we've laid this foundation, I just want to, let's just think and look at some of these things that, okay, what role does empathy and self-compassion have to play? Since we all know that we all are corporate, there is no one that is free from all this. So what role exactly does empathy and self-compassion have to play when it comes to addictions and breaking of bad habits?
That's a very interesting point, and I've not really thought much about the role of empathy. But at BPI, what we emphasize is respect. Respect. Respect is the basis for treating yourself better and for treating others better. Yeah. So if you really don't have much self-respect for yourself, you're more than likely going to harm yourself and everyone else. So and a big part of respect is empathy, right? Empathy is putting yourself in other people's shoes. Okay, if I was this person, would I want to be treated this way? Right? You understand? And let me quote one of my favorite authors. Let me say, is a professor, basically, Jordan Peterson. And in his book, 12 Rules for Life, he mentions something like treat yourself like you would a pet you are taking care of, or a child, or like someone you are in charge of, someone that is not so capable, someone you have to take care of, Yes, and less like a god or a perfect being, like, okay, you're all perfect, like, okay, you don't have to do much, but basically look after yourself as if this person has been put in charge of you. Okay, hold this puppy for 15 days. This puppy has to be healthy and alive in 15 days. And you have to do all you can to keep it that way. So treat yourself like that. And I really agree with Dr. Peterson. I really agree with that.
I think I do too.
And it aligns really with our foundation at BPI of respect, of self-respect. You don't want to be a dad that's struggling to quit porn. Like, you don't want to, as a parent, you don't want your kid to walk in on you while you are gawking at pornographic videos on your screen. Yes, it's an insult to yourself. It's an insult to your kids, basically. And people might say, "Oh, that's so serious. Don't take yourself so seriously." Obviously, you don't have to take yourself seriously in every case, but at the basics, at the very, very important levels, the primary levels of your life, you need to take yourself seriously, because without any foundation,
you need to take yourself seriously.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, everybody just thinks that, oh, it ends with me. It begins and ends with me. It's my life. Let me just, live it anyhow. And like you said, empathy, right? It's empathy that now makes you think, okay, hold on a minute. Right. It's my life, but this life came out from someone else, and most likely another life is going to come out of this life. And I don't live alone in society. My actions, my negative actions have, ripple effects that will affect everyone else around me. Yes. I'm going to be less productive. I'm going to be less able to give my gifts at the fullest to the world to benefit everyone around me if I continue this negative habit. So when that sort of empathy sets in, based on respect, I think one is able to fix those tiny little things. And usually, that will act as a powerful drive, as a driving force for anytime you falter, anytime you relapse, anytime anything just happens that takes you off course. You keep that as your center, as your centrifugal force that holds you, together, holds everything together. And this is your goal. Come back to this. You want to be a better person for you first, for your family second, and for the world around you. And like Dr. Peterson always says again, I like this guy so much. So this is not like a PR show for him.
This will be a part of this session where you share some resources with us. So don't worry, we'll get there.
All right. no worries. So basically, Dr. Peter, he talks a lot about laying your bed, before you go out to change the world, clean your room. It's kind of like an analogy that a lot of people take out of context and they take it literally, like, oh, clean your room. Yeah, you should take it literally. You need to clean your room. Like, it's just a sign of a responsible individual, someone that takes care of themselves. You don't want your kids to leave their room all messy. You have to go there and tell them, oh, kids, get your room straight. But before you do that, your room has to be straight. So this applies to your daily habits too. Are you eating right? Are you moving? Are you moving a lot? Are you moving around a lot? Are you exercising yourself? Are you working to develop new, better habits for yourself? Are you learning to develop respect, empathy, compassion for everyone around you and for yourself? But at the end of it, it all starts with you. It starts with you laying your bed and cleaning the room before you go out there and say you want to change the world. And that's what we preach at BPI, better yourself and you better the world.
Fantastic, I'd say. This is so good. And I absolutely love what you said about, self-respect. And you also mentioned the fact that you should do your work, do your own work, and just hold yourself to it. It's so good. And like empathy, like we should have empathy. And I also believe there should be a balance between empathy and self-compassion. So as much as you're trying to hold yourself accountable towards your goals, ensuring you sit your butt down to make sure things are done, there should also be this room for you to show compassion and just love upon yourself, to know that regardless of what I've done, regardless of the number of times I've fallen and risen, regardless of the number of times I've made the mistake, I am still loved. I am still a very much a good, decent human being. It has no effect on my self-worth. It does not make me lesser than any other person. And it should just be a balance of the two, not an extreme of beating yourself down too much, or the extreme of just losing yourself way too much. It's just a balance of the two. I think that's so good. Thank you so much. And so this will lead to the next thing I want us to discuss about, which is very practical. So I just want to ask, are there practical steps, action steps you want to share with us, something you've used with BPI, you've used with the people at BPI, and you think is something that is very good, something you've read in books, something you've seen in videos, and you've also tried putting to use your own self, and you can say, yes, it's working. So just share that with us.
Taking a new habit and getting rid of. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
All right, okay. Steps to take on new habits and getting rid of old ones. They might sound a bit complicated, but at the end of the day, they're all down to the basics, right? Because everyone is out there trying to make it so complicated so that everyone will run to them and say, oh yeah, you're the savior. In there. Yes. All right. Right. So at the end of the day, even before we had internet gurus, people had bad habits that they had to overcome by themselves, and through the help of other people. Yeah. So at the top of the list is accountability. You have to be able to take accountability.
So we have the first point, accountability.
That's the first step, because at the end of the day, your excuses are valid, right? The excuses for continuing in that are valid, but at the end of the day, they won't change your life. They won't make a difference, and you can continue to keep giving the same excuse. But if you fail to take accountability, you're going to remain in that. That's what we preach today. Okay, acknowledge that. Okay, yes, this is partly my fault or totally my fault at the end of the day. Okay, maybe I'm drinking because I lost my job and all, but a lot of people have lost their jobs as well, but they didn't end up drinking. So, where is the connection? So just take accountability for it, and that's the first step.
Okay. So accountability. So we're not
building on. All right. So building on accountability, you move to responsibility. Without taking accountability, you can't take responsibility for yourself. So they are intertwined, essentially. So responsibility is now you sitting yourself down and drafting out the how, right? you have already determined the what with the accountability. Okay, what am I doing wrong? This is what I am doing wrong. Now, how am I going to change this? This is what's happening to me that is bad. How am I going to change this? This is where responsibility comes in, and you are in a sense responsible for taking that first step. And what another thing we preach at BPI is that we can't want something for you more than you want it for yourself.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day,
That's
you
so
have to want it more for yourself than anybody else can want it for you. Maybe your religious leaders, your mentors, they can't want you to succeed as much as you want to succeed, in a personal level. So that's where your responsibility comes in. And from your responsibility, you go to finding the right tools, finding the right resources, which is also part of your responsibility. Resources, tools, personnel. Okay, what are the people? What can I do now that will, actively help me on my journey? Basically, what can I do that will actually help me on my journey? So for the people at BPI right now, we talk about things like a defensive approach to their struggles, which is them protecting their minds against the usual cues and triggers. Once they have taken accountability and responsibility, they're able to sit down, identify, okay, this is what usually happens when I fall into this. Okay, maybe an alcoholic, for example, okay, after a bad breakup or a fight with a personal friend, I usually tend. So once you realize that, you begin to, avoid situations like that. Avoid situations like that as much as you can, or just create defensive blocks to, mitigate against that. And the second step, which is a twin of it, is the attacking strategy, which is you actively replacing. Yes, there's a defensive. Yes, exactly. So now, an attacking strategy is you putting in place things, positive activities, positive habits, positive words, or whatever the case may be, in place of the negativity that you always do.
So there should be no vacuum in that sense.
Exactly, because your mind always wants to soothe itself and always wants to feel calm and relaxed. And that's how you got the bad habit imposed in the first place, because your mind created a pattern that was comfortable for it. Now you have to break the pattern and find something else that's comfortable for your mind, at the same time. So, and still part of the third point, tools, resources, is finding a community, like you say, of people moving in your direction, changing. Exactly. That's just one community. There are many other struggles and many other communities hopefully for that.
So as it applies to your own struggles, so you find a community suitable for that. Okay.
Find a community. Yes. Yeah, it might be a struggle, it might be a goal you're trying to achieve. Maybe you're trying to get fitter, right? You're trying to be more athletic. So you need to find a gym where you have to go, where you can find mentorship and encouragement. And in the same vein, go for resources as well. The internet has made both the evil and good, widely available to everyone. So you can go there and take your pick. Enough of the bad, focus more on the good, focus more on things that can help you actually achieve these goals, actually help you live a better life. That's what we preach. And the final step is patience and trusting the process. Patience and trusting the process. Because because that's one thing like a lot of people don't really emphasize upon as well. Well, there might be a lot of emphasis on it, but this is the part that most people don't like. Everybody just wants quick fixes. Everybody knows deep down that they have to be patient. Exactly. Right? You want to make a cake, you have your flour and eggs and everything else. And it can't magically happen. You have to put in the work and you have to be patient while it's in the oven. So it's the same thing with your habits. Some habits have a shorter oven span than others. Some are easier to break, some are harder to break. Science has helped make some addictions very easy to break, and others, they are still work in progress. So be patient and trust the process. And this is where self-compassion comes in as well. know that if anything happens and you stumble or falter along the way, know that,
You get back up
it's still part of
again.
the process.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's part of the
It's part
process.
of the
Yeah.
process. Yeah, because you are mentally, it's a fight between your mind, like we say now, between your mind and your person, your spirit, your let me say, an astral projection of your own reality, looking at yourself from a third person point of view. So you can see, we are both in a tussle, in a struggle. Your brain wants what it wants, but your spirit, yourself, knows better than to just give it what it wants. So that's where the tussle is. And sometimes you may lose a few battles, but at the end of the day, aim to win the war. Aim to win the war, because you don't have to win all the battles, to win the war. You can lose a few here and there, but just see them as that. Okay, a few lost battles, right? A few casualties, as you go ahead, as you forge ahead. It's all about patience, trusting the process, and you can't do this on your own. That's why you have to go back to the third point, which is finding the right community. It is the right community essentially that will keep you on ground and provide people also that look up to you to hold them up as well. And yes, you spend a lot of years, like we tell many people have been struggling with porn addiction for decades, for a decade and more, man. Like, so you can't expect to quit it in a month or in a year, yeah, exactly. It doesn't work that way. You have to be patient with it, and you have to surround yourself with the right people to keep you going at the same time.
Thank you so much. I mean, you shared a lot of things now that if we begin to unravel them and take them bit by bit, we'll not leave it there. We're going to spend like 4 hours or 5, nothing short of that. I mean, you shared some really profound things. So I'm just going to pick maybe 1 or 2 of them, and then we wrap up this conversation. So you mentioned accountability, you mentioned responsibility, then you mentioned the defense, permit me to use the word mechanism. And this is where
strategy,
the power of the mind, the power of the mind, like we mentioned, using the mind as a tool, to get over addictions and unbroken habits. So now I just want to ask, like, the mind is actually a very effective tool that works based on what we feed it. We feed our mind. For our mind to be robust and productive, for it to produce the kind of results that we want, we need to feed our minds. So we are in the constant state of feeding our mind by what we see, by what we hear, by our senses. Our minds are constantly taking signals. They are constantly taking in something. That's just the way it works. So it's either we get intentional about it, or we just allow just everything that we see on the internet, on the television, what we hear on the in our music lyrics, everything just gets to us. So which is now going to lead to the next question I want you to buttress on and answer, is which is about what resources do you know that can help anyone at all who's struggling with addictions, unbroken habits, that they can take in books, YouTube videos, any particular speaker, podcast, like you mentioned your prof, you'll be mentioning them again and again. So if there are other resources you'd like to share with us, please, we want to know them, because I know, for one, I know of Atomic Habits. I mean, Atomic Habits is, oh my God, is a very nice part of this world, and it's just so good. So any other resources apart from that, please share with us.
Okay. Thank you very much. And obviously, I want to start with the fact that, as babies, our mind was blank. It was just, play. And as our parents exposed us to things, we began to pick up, stuff, And most times, the way we were treated by our parents formed the foundation for the type of resilience we will have as adults. Kind of like the template. It's not like final, but it's a template of what we took into adulthood. So if we had parents that talked down on us a lot, that said, "Oh, you can't do this right, you can't do that right," our strength of will be weaker than someone whose parents always giving them challenges and encouraging them to surmount these challenges. True. So yes, at the end of the day, depending on regardless of what your childhood is like, you can retrain your brain. You can retrain your brain to.
We should all actually
to be more.
Yes,
we should. It's a constant renewal process. And one of the ways is by setting mini challenges for yourself. It could be, okay, throughout this month, I want to lay my bed every time I wake up. It can be as simple as that. It can be as simple as that. If you, let's say someone is addicted to porn, basically, and their trigger point is always a couch. Maybe they have a particular couch, in their living room, whatever, that they sit on. So a challenge might be, okay, I want to avoid this couch. I don't want to sit on this couch for a defined period of time, right? Or I want to get this couch out. It can be as little as that, to overcome. Or I want to sit on this couch and I don't want to do this for like a week. That's also a way to retrain our mind. Mini challenges. Okay, I want to get this degree. But on the way to get the degree, set mini challenges. So back to your question. Sorry for diverting that long. Yeah. So like there are many resources. There are many resources online for how to break habits and to create new ones, new positive, better ones. Which is another reason why we should be a bit wary, because in the midst of multitude of resources, you have to still sift and know which ones work for
which
you.
one exactly works and what you need. Yeah.
Which one is bad advice, outrightly bad that you shouldn't even consider? Which one is great advice but not for you? And which one is the optimum, the best one for your particular case? At the end of the day. So I usually recommend Andrew Huberman. He's a behavioral psychologist at Stanford University. Yes, he has a YouTube channel. He has a podcast called the Huberman Lab. On his podcast, he explains it. Yes, Huberman. Yeah, I could drop the link or any other thing. I think you should have an Instagram as well. So it talks about the brain and the plasticity of the brain, the fact that the brain is flexible. It can be maneuvered, it can be changed, and that's what influences exactly. That's what influences our daily habits, and the direction of our lives at the end of the day. So it's someone important to check out, and also Dr. Jordan Peterson as well. This one, particularly if you're a young guy, a lot of ladies can benefit from it as well. But if you're a young guy, particularly, because he kind of tailors his content towards young guys, because nowadays there's a pandemic of confusion among young guys with different advice, types of advice, flying around the internet. Oh, be this, be that, be this, be that. But at the end of the day, Dr. Peterson's work helped me, in a lot of ways, because he emphasizes the importance of those small habits, small powerful habits. So he has 2 books, 12 Rules for Life, and a follow-up to that, Beyond Order. Yes, 12 More Rules for Life. That's the second part. So you can check those books out by Jordan Peterson. He has content on YouTube as well that can be beneficial. And finally, Atomic Habits.
Atomic
by
Habits.
James Clear. Yes.
Oh my God, that's spooky.
If you are interested in habits, you should really start with that. It's a great fit for anyone. And as long as you have your secondary school education, you should really be able to grasp the basic concepts we try to explain in those videos. I think it's really beneficial for you.
Thank you so much.
There are other resources, but you have to sift through and know which one works for you. But these are just my own personal recommendations to get you on track.
Okay.
But you have to
thank you for sharing those with us. Thank you so much. Thank you. I absolutely agree with you on Atomic Habits. That book, The Compounding Effect, the fact that we shouldn't get what's it called, this latency, they just plateau of latency or something. That book is just so powerful and wonderful and very good for anyone who wants to break bad habits and just break through addictions and all of that. So thank you for sharing these resources with us. So finally, before we leave here today, just in case there is somebody on this call right now or someone who will be watching this later that is just fascinated about the Beyond Porn initiative and everything you mentioned about it and wants to join the community like we mentioned, to be part of the steps for anyone who is trying to break her habits, have a community, have accountability partner. So just in case anyone here or will be seeing this video later wants to join this community, how can this person, get this done.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So first off, we have a Telegram channel for now, and where everyone is, and from there you can explain your problem, you can share your stories, and you can help other people. You can learn our stories from there.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a safe space, like no judging, basically. And when it comes to resources, we are partnering with a few clinical psychologists that can actually help you if you need their help. Of course, it might come at a fee, but they can help you one-on-one, by listening to what you have to say and offering the advice in a way, actionable advice in a way that you can go about your life. But overall, as a community, we tend to grow together, and we develop resources, and direct you to tools and personnel that can actually help you on a day-to-day basis. A practical help and something that is tailored for you, because life for everyone is different. Some people may be day workers where they have to go to their office. Some people may be students. Some people may work from home and all that. So different strokes for different folks. So different tools for people like that. So if you're interested in joining, yes, if you're interested in joining us, you can visit our Instagram page at Beyond Fun at BP Initiative. I think I might drop the link here. Then on our bio, there's a link there to our Telegram channel where you can just click in.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All
right. Just join the Telegram group for it and get started.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much this lovely morning, and quite a number of people joined us while we're having this conversation, and I begin to call your names. I can see quite a number of people. Thank you for joining. I just want to ask people that are on this call right now, in case anyone has a question that you'd like us to address, let's take a minute or two for that. So please type in your questions if you have any at the moment. Just signify so we can wait for you for your questions. Anyone with question at the moment? I'm not sure there's any. Okay, I'm not sure there's any, but okay. In case anyone has a question, this video is going to be saved on this Instagram page, and it will also end up on our YouTube channel for Living Out Loud. So in case anyone at all has any questions at any point, you can just drop it in the comments. We'll find a way of addressing your questions. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this morning. And my special appreciation goes to John. Thank you so much.
Right.
Okay, we have a question. We have a question from Dr. Damola. We have a question. So he says, thanks for the wonderful talk. I'm curious to know the impact the initiative has had in the last 2 years. Do people come out willingly? What's the success rate? So over to you, John.
All right. Great question, and thank you for the question, Dr. Damola. So first off, this initiative didn't exist in the past 2 years, at least not under this label. I'm sure there are a lot of other. There is a Fight the New Drug in the US that exists. It still exists, but it existed, way before 2 years, and they have been helping out in this way. So I wouldn't want to take all the glory that we are the one doing that. So a lot of other people have been doing it. Yes, exactly. So BPI just started officially about September last year. So and in that course we have.
And I was there in December.
Yes.
And by the way, I was the first keynote speaker there.
You were 100%. And we have one scheduled, so very soon you'll be ousted. You'll get another person.
Okay.
Yeah. So we started in September, and in that course we have on our Telegram channel we have about 90 people now, and in that process we have helped about 40 or so people who have actually come out. Yes, people come out willingly about their addictions. These are married men, these are students, people that are actually struggling with this, have expressed their interest. We put the Telegram channel, all over the internet through my personal Twitter account, and people actually click through to say something. first we started with WhatsApp, where you can just text help to a WhatsApp number, and get to chat and share. Then in the DM, we share them tools they can use. We have this habit tracking calendar that they can use to mark their progress.
Good.
So that's
a wonderful resource.
So essentially, the aim is to get these people. We are not aiming to do magic. We are just aiming to push them to take more responsibility for their lives, right? And we are aiming to provide them with the tools and resources for that. Because like I always say, like we always say at BPI, we can't want something for you more than you want it for yourself. So the tools and the resources are there. The community is there to help you in time of your need. And yes, that's what we are. The safe space is also there where you can share your thoughts without being judged. Exactly, and that's the impact we are aiming to drive on a larger scale. At the end of the day.
To an extent, you can say it's been going well and it's been a success.
Yes, it is.
And we look forward
we are
to
right on track
in the future.
Yes, we are going for more, basically.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We have another question here that says, I think people dealing with addiction have trust issues with some communities. How do we bridge this gap of these trust issues? How do we bridge this gap?
That's a very important question. And what I don't know if the person can clarify what they mean by trust issues. Is it that they don't trust the community to help them with their problems, or privacy? Exactly. Well, from the BPI perspective, the issue of privacy is actually a very big topic, and it's a no-brainer with us, because nobody, when it comes to personal, confessions, a DM kind of talk, it's hairtight, and nobody else is hearing about another person's stories with their name and their face attached. At most it's going to be an anonymous story just to help somebody out. And of course, when it comes to privacy, that is out of the way, because that's the major problem, and that's the reason why this exists. So we are not going to shoot ourselves and every other person in the foot by exposing them without their consent. And I think other communities should, that should be one of the first green flags to look out for in any community you're trying to join, for help with something as personal as this. Yes. I think if they are not really big on privacy, then you should be wary, and it's best to just step back a bit. So, and at the end of the day, this is why we work with experts, because they understand these things, and they understand that, okay, once we dive into them and they begin to share their stories, it's a safe zone from there on, and they can actually find the help and support that they need. But at the end of the day, we are pointing you in the direction to help you be a better person. We are simply helping you and guiding you. We are not basically going to take you and transform you without your consent. That's the assault. It's a suable offense, But so you have to take responsibility at the end of the day. But we are there to provide privacy, a safe space, and the right resources, at least from our own perspective.
That's so good and ethical, I would say. So it's a safe space. BPI particularly, we can vouch for that. Maybe not for others, but we can definitely say for BPI, it's a safe space. No need to be afraid of trust issues. If you know anyone who's dealing with porn addiction or any of sorts, please, they can easily get to BPI. We have the resources and the personnel, for them at this point in time. All right. Thank you so much, everybody.
One more thing, please. Just one last thing. And sorry about it. The aim of BPI is to make this safe space larger, to make it wider, and to make it comfortable. Yes, because I may go a bit religious here, but Nigeria is a very religious country. So let me go religious. Churches, mosques, places of worship, basically. They don't feel comfortable sitting down, listening to these kind of struggles. At the end of the day, without the sharer of the story feeling judged and feeling unholy, in a manner of speaking. Exactly. So, the person you're even talking to is probably battling the same thing, but he's comfortable judging you because you are the one, you are the mumu that came to talk to me. You understand? And that's what we aim to change. That's what we aim to change. You can talk about your struggle with smoking. You can talk about your struggle with drinking. Why can't you talk about your struggle with
pornography?
And yes. So that's what we aim to change.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much for what you're doing for mankind and for humanity. Thank you so much, everyone who has asked the question as well. Okay, so in the absence of any other questions this morning, I think this is all we're going to wrap up. And just to recap everything that we've shared, the mind being a tool to overcome struggles as regards breaking bad habits and addiction. So we learned this morning the principle of empathy and self-compassion. So on one end, you hold yourself accountable, you hold yourself responsible, have some degree of self-respect, and just sit yourself down to do the work because no one is going to do it for you. And on the other end of it, it shows some compassion towards yourself, that even when you fall and you rise and you're falling and you're rising, you still got it. You're not less of a human, and you shouldn't beat yourself too much about it. We also share the fact that it's this small habit that accumulates over time, and you should be patient with yourself. John shared that with us. He mentioned that we should be patient with ourselves. So you don't expect the magic to happen overnight because you're trying to form a new habit or cultivate a new one. Be patient. Then we also looked into the fact of renewal our minds and taking in new resources for our minds, in which John shared some of his favorite authors and people in the world that can be beneficial to you when you're trying to form a new habit. And he also encouraged us to look into finding adequate resources that is suitable for you among the vast numerous you have on the internet. All right, so it has been a really productive morning. I mean, my heart is so full. I'm so joyous. Thank you so much for everyone that joined. Thank you so much, John, for joining us again this morning. I'm super elated. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful Saturday, everybody. Bye.
You too. Bye, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye everybody. Ashake, Lolade, Toyosi, Eyemi, Damola, Dr. Sophie, Z, Dr. Fumi, Pastor Ro, Sam J, Tim King, Tunlisa, Baked by Tina, Lainka, Baba Yemi, Ola, Bella, Eniola, Tommy, and John. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody. Have a lovely Saturday.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right.